Hello, my MMA aficionados. I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I am joined by the number 12 ranked welterweight in all of the UFC, and a man whose fights often pack as much action as a John Wick film. He returned to the octagon on August 1st to face Randy Brown, and that man is the silent assassin himself, Vicente Luque. Mr. Assassin, sir. Thank you for the time today to talk the latest in your career.
Hey, thank you, man, for having me. And yeah, excited for the talk.
Now, before we move forward to this fight with Randy Brown, I wanted to quickly look back on your second win over Niko Price in May. It was a competitive fight. You forced a doctor stoppage from just mangling his right eye. Coming off of the disappointing setback that was the Wonderboy fight, what did you think of your performance against Niko? Were you pleased with it and just understood that man has a stone head and it's hard to put him away? Or were there areas of your performance you weren't too happy with?
I mean, overall, I was pleased with it, especially, coming into that fight, I had to do a lot of adjustments because of the quarantine and everything. So my training wasn't ideal for that. I'm sure that Niko Price had the same problem. So, we just struggled with that. I think every fighter did. But overall, I felt happy. I got there. I felt good. I had a good weight cut. I felt really close. I was between 80-85% of what I'm usually at, so it wasn't that bad. I went out there, put on a great fight, a great show. And man, Niko is a tough guy. I knew that he was gonna, come ready for this rematch because whenever we're rematching a guy that beat us in the past, we want to go out there and make sure we're gonna finish him. So he tried to do that. He came, with all he had. I was ready for it. Mentally, I knew that was going to be, a tough fight, especially because I knew how much he wanted to beat me. But, I just go through it. If guys can take what I bring, I'll just keep going, keep hitting him as hard as I can every single time. And eventually I was able to put him away. I mean, not put him away. He was still conscious, but the doctor had to stop it because, it was a really bad the eye got totally shut. He couldn't see from that eye. So, I mean, overall, I felt it was a good fight. I definitely had some mistakes over there. He caught me, especially with that front kick in the first round. I did not anticipate that he could reach so much with his leg. So, overall, I thought it was a good fight. Some mistakes, but nothing major. And I did adjust for that, and I feel good right now.
Now, of course, a big storyline recently was Gilbert Burns testing positive for COVID-19 and it causing him his title shot. But, things have been more than just that at Sanford MMA. Ongla and Song also tested positive. Supposedly a coach also tested positive. And you were mentioning how you were 85% of yourself because of dealing with those other things, but because of this recent stuff and this virus being so hard to understand, do you have any concerns about making it to August 1st? Did you ponder going to another gym or getting a smaller group of your teammates outside and train outside of Sanford, just to make sure you don't test positive and cost you an opportunity and cost you money?
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not always in Florida. I'm not always training at Sanford.
Okay.
So right now, I'm in Brazil, training here at Serrato MMA, my team here in Brazil. So, that was a good adjustment for me, especially, considering that unfortunately those events happened with with Gilbert. So, at least on that side, I think that I'm safer here a little bit just because here things are still, the gyms are open but limited. So you cannot go with a big group. I'm training right now with a group of 3 guys. So it's me, other 3 guys. The coaches are all via on video. So they're all watching and coaching us. So, I feel safe on that side. I'm doing everything I can not to, get contaminated or anything like that. So, I mean, that's a good thing of being here in Brazil. And, it's good because my family's here, so I feel really good as well.
Now, for this fight with Randy Brown, obviously, MMA math doesn't hold up. That said, it is fascinating to see that his last 2 losses were to guys you have beaten in Niko and Belal Muhammad. A lot of people might look at that and think, well, if he can't beat those guys, why should he beat the guy that beat them? But, for folks that think that, what would you tell them in explaining why Randy is a dangerous fight for you? Or would you say there is truth to the history and this is a very favorable matchup for you?
The thing is, I think every single fight is really individual. You cannot compare, like, styles are different, you know.
Yeah.
So we don't know how I'm gonna match up with Randy. That's something that we're only gonna see the night of the fight. So it's hard to say, okay, I beat those guys that beat him. Oh, that's an easy fight. No way. I mean, that's not how I look at fights. I'm always getting ready for the toughest opponent. In my mind, every fight is a title fight. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be as ready as I can to beat a champion if I need to. So, you know, and Randy is definitely a dangerous guy. He's really tall for the division. He's long. He has a long reach. He has a really good boxing skill set. You know, I think that he doesn't showcase it as much, but every single fight he has been improving. He's striking and showing more how comfortable he is in there. So, you know, I'm definitely not going to look past him. I'm focused totally right now on beating him and being ready to take his style as it is. He's a long guy. It's a tough fight. I fought Jalen Turner, who was a tall guy as well.
Yeah.
I kind of am used to fighting guys like that. Not so often, but I have some guys working with me here that are really tall. So getting ready for that. And also Randy, whenever he can, and he throws some wrestling in there. You know, he knows how to stall in the cage, try to, you know, take a fight down over there. So that's something I'm getting ready to, because it's MMA. We never know what the guy's going to do. So definitely Randy is a dangerous opponent, and I'm going to be ready for the best Randy Brown.
Now, as just a fan of combat sports for years, I've always seen fighters talk about how dealing with length is hard. You know, how do you prepare for that in your own experience in the beginning stages of when you had to prepare for guys with length? Is it truly really difficult to deal with and work around and prepare for? And if so, explain to people that may not understanding why, you know, someone that can box and that has that reach, that height or whatever really is frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is getting to the distance where I can hit him. So usually when the fight starts, we're going to start far away from each other. So he's going to be in his reach before I am in my reach where I can connect. So I think that's the big chess match. I have to cut that distance and get to the distance where I can connect my shots and hopefully not be connected before I get into that. You know, that's what the challenging thing about fighting a long guy is. But I like challenges, so I think that's in my favor, you know, the sense that I feel challenged about that. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be really trained for that. And you know, I think things have been going really good in camp, so I feel comfortable with this fight in the sense that I feel really ready. I feel like I'm better than I've ever been. Things are back on track. Like for the last fight, I didn't have really a good strength and conditioning facility. I couldn't train anywhere, so I was doing everything at home. My coach was helping me out, but it was everything at home. Now my coach built a gym in his house, so you know, he just decided to do that, and he's training me and some other fighters that work with him as well over there. So I feel 100%, you know, better than I've been in any fight. So I'm really comfortable in the sense that I know I'm ready for this fight. Even though he's a long guy, he's a skilled guy, I feel like I'm going to have the edge in this fight.
Now, everyone who watches your fight, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be an action-packed, it's going to be an exciting fight. And not like, oh, it's just going to be a crazy brawl. It's very technical, but you like to get down and dirty and very physical with people. Now, you mentioned that his length and stuff like that, the boxing, he can wrestle. Let's say he's like, I don't want to give Vicente, you know, put him in the zone where he's the best. I don't want to give him these kind of fights like Niko maybe gave him. So let's say you're expecting that he's going to try to avoid that kind of, do everything away from trying to get to your fight. How do you force him to engage in your kind of fight? Is it like what you said, you just got to find the range, and then once you find that range, it is what it is? Or like, do you have to force someone to get into those kind of fights?
Yeah, I think big part of it is getting into the range, but also like, well, I believe whenever I can connect, he's gonna want to connect back. You know, it's kind of that game where if I'm landing more in his mind, he knows that he's losing the fight. He's either gonna have to connect more than I am, or he's going to have to try to take me down or do something to make the judges realize, no, I'm winning the fight. So, you know, I think that's something that I do. I'm an aggressive fighter. I bring the fight. That's just natural to me. You know, I don't know how to fight in another fashion. So I'm going to bring the fight. And usually in these fights, like the toughest fight I have are when the guys are just understand, okay, he's gonna bring the fight, I'm gonna bring the fight right back to him. So usually if the guy doesn't do that, I feel like the fight goes towards my advantage, where I can be aggressive, I can connect more, and if I get a finish, I do. If not, I'm just gonna dominate round after round. So guys like, for example, Thompson, my last loss, he was a guy that, even though he's a counter striker, at a certain point, he just realized, I'm going to have to stand and bang with this guy and maybe get hit a little bit, but to hit him harder. And it worked for him. He got the better out of it, but I still connected. I still brought a fight. That's why it was a fight of the night. So I think that style kind of makes it hard for guys just to try to stall, just try to, get a safe win over me. It's not easy to get a safe win over me. When I get in there, I'm going to make sure that I hurt that guy. And nothing personal. Is just what I like, just what I like. I love fighting. I love hurting guys. That's what I do.
Now, this could be seen as like a risky fight for you as a ranked opponent facing someone outside the top 15. What made you take on a fight some might call a risk to your spot? Was it because, other ranked guys just, you couldn't get the booking, which I heard is it can be difficult to get booking sometimes? Did you just want to stay busy, make money? Maybe it's a mix of kind of both of those things.
Exactly. It's a mix. I would love to fight somebody in the top 15, but it just didn't happen. Some guys were booked, and other guys didn't want to fight right now at this moment. So it was kind of hard to get an opponent in the top 15. And I want to keep myself active. I think a big part of my game, I'm not the trash talker guy. It's just not who I am. So what I make sure that I'm going to sell my fights with is my style and keep my style in people's mind. So the more I fight, the more people enjoy my fights, the more people want to see me fight. So I like to be active. I feel good when I'm active. I feel like every single fight I can watch my last fights, correct whatever I need to correct, and become a better version of myself. So it just made sense for me. Randy is a good opponent. He's an up-and-coming guy. So it's not like he doesn't have anything to add to me. I think a win over him does show a lot of people that how versatile I can be and all the different kind of opponents I can face and still be a threat, So I think it's not the ideal fight, but it's definitely a good matchup.
Now, Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, it's likely the next welterweight title fight. You've trained around those two guys for a long time at Sanford. Good relationship with Gilbert. I asked Ongla Unsang a similar question, but is there any awkwardness for, two guys well fighting each other? And are you almost thankful that, like, Usman left the gym and you maybe weren't put in a position where you had to choose sides or any kind of difficult, weird friendship things like that?
Right from the beginning, I had a really good relationship with both. But me and Gilbert, it goes beyond because our families are really friends, and we are like brothers. Really, we're like brothers. I'm always that I can, I'm in his corner and he's in my corner. So as soon as the fight was gonna happen, I let Kamaru know. I sent him a message and let him know, I probably am gonna be cornering Gilbert, but that's never going to put anything between me and Kamaru, at least on my side. I wanted to let him know that whenever he needs my help, he needs me, to go there and train with him, be a sparring partner, I will, because that we have always done that for each other. It was not going to happen in this fight with Gilbert. In this fight, I will help Gilbert to get ready and corner him because that's just what we've been doing lately to each other, and it has worked a lot. So it would be hard for me not to be there just because, I've always been there for Gilbert and he has always been there for me. But I let Kamaru know, and Kamaru understood. He was fine with that. But it's awkward. It's a little bit awkward. Definitely is because, it's two guys that I train with. I always want both guys to win their fights. So in this fight, it was kind of like, man, I'm with Gilbert. But I love Kamaru as well, But I was going to be there for Gilbert and help him out with everything. And, it didn't happen. It will happen. I think at this point, the two of them are the best welterweights in the world. It just makes sense that they fight. Kamaru had a dominant performance against Masvidal. Gilbert had a really dominant performance against Woodley. So two are the toughest guys in the division. It makes all sense that they fight right now. They really, I mean, that's what's left to see who the best welterweight is. And it's gonna be what's gonna be, and I'll be there cornering Gilbert. And after that, we're just gonna have fun and no bad blood or anything with that after.
Now, and the interesting thing is when I'm friends with some people at Sanford, and everybody knows Henry Hoof won't be in Gilbert's corner because of the whole thing and the situation. And I was told you or his brother Herbert would possibly be lead voices in his corner. It's one thing to prepare for your own fights, and I've been told, by fighters that they're often more nervous for their friends and teammates' fights than their own. How nerve-wracking will that have to be to maybe be the lead voice for Gilbert in a title fight against someone you like? Like, that has to be like, I wouldn't be mad at you. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's too much stress.
The thing is, we're really professional about it. That's why this fight can happen. That's why Kamaru and Gilbert both accepted the fight. And, the build-up for the fight, they were respecting each other. And, they're still friends. It's not going to be something that is going to generate bad blood between us because we're really professional. We have always been. So, I mean, it's just something that it's different. We're not used to that, but it has to be done. I'm going to go there. I'm going to give the best instructions I can to Gilbert. A big thing is that Henry is not going to be on the corner. So not having Henry there with Gilbert, and, it's hard on Gilbert. So I have to be there. I have to help him. He has to have a lead voice. And if I'm the one to do that, I'll take that role. And, and like I said, everything is good with Kamaru. I let him know that I was gonna be there. I didn't want that to be a problem, especially for him. Just let it clear that I'm gonna be there, and he was super fine with that. He understood my position, and I mean, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be, and I don't know. It'll be good. It's gonna be a great fight. Everybody's gonna have fun, and after that, things are done, and we're just gonna enjoy whatever happens.